Okay, NXT, a show that really didn't feel very substantial. Now, it wasn't bad. I want to make this clear. You watch it, you're not going to hate it. It wasn't 100% trash. And that is where it's a little confusing because is this set up before WrestleMania? Or is this set up for, well, I know it's going for Stand and Deliver. They are setting this up for Stand and Deliver. But honestly, I'm not sure how I feel about this show, particularly how it was set up. Now, opening, Grayson Waller versus Tyler Bates. Now, Tyler, I like Tyler. Big, strong boy. I actually like him. I think he's got a lot of personality. I think that if you decide to throw him onto the main roster, he would work, counting on if they book him correctly. But as it stands right now, they're really not doing anything with the UK wrestlers. They're not. And that's a major problem. A lot of UK wrestlers are not being set up for anything. Almost nothing's going on for them. So I see Tyler Bates. The guy's got charisma. The guy is a good wrestler. Yes, he's a small guy. Doesn't matter. So was Daniel Bryan. But people loved him. And honestly, the match between him and Grayson Waller was not a bad match. But I can see where they were going with it. Particularly they're setting up Grayson Waller having some type of situation where HBK will have to do some type of stipulation that I believe that at this point Grayson Waller might be ready for the main roster. Because I have this feeling that sooner or later, maybe by near WrestleMania, that Grayson Waller may transition going from NXT to the main roster. I don't know which not going to say promotion. Well, technically SmackDown and Raw is another promotion compared to NXT. But I feel like he will go to one of them. But this feels like they're setting that up for him. He's being groomed for him to finally leave NXT by WrestleMania. That's what it feels like. And after seeing that explosion after he lost his match from Tyler Bates against A-Train and against HBK, you wonder if HBK is going to have A-Train do a match, which he probably doesn't do anymore, but you get my point. Next, I want to say this about the Apollo and Commander, I don't even remember the guy's name because I didn't really pay much attention to him. Commander Azid, Apake, if I'm pronouncing his name right, which I know I'm not. Seeing that Apollo's mad and he doesn't know why, but the other guy knows why, he now is angry beyond stink to the point where his own focus, not the past or the present or the future, is nothing. Only focus is him. That shows that really had nothing for Apollo to do. I'm going to be honest here. If Apollo had won the NXT title, better yet, the North American title, there wouldn't be a big problem. You could have given the North American title to Apollo. And that would be alright until you think Grayson Waller, if he had won, you could have had Apollo go back against Grayson Waller. But since Braun Breaker's still not ready yet, at least until after WrestleMania, maybe they will have him ready. I don't know. I don't think so. You really don't have anything for Apollo to do. So you throw Commander Azid at him. And that kind of feels like a cop-out, where I think he should be working with Wes at this point. I love Wes. I know Desmond Xavier. That's my boy. I've always said when I did my Impact Wrestling that boy has something. I knew it. More than Vince, more than Trey, it was always Desmond. I always said it. You can look into my, there's no more back button. The first videos, there's still no old videos button yet. So you have to scroll for quite a while. I got 2,000 videos, guy. 2,000 videos going to 2,100 at this point, I think, nearing 2,100. You have to scroll for a while about 2016 or 17 when I said that Desmond was great. I'm just saying, he is great. But at this point, you got to do something with Apollo. Unless you're going to make another title, which you're not. North American title, that's it. I'm just saying. Now, Thea since I didn't see NXT last week, I didn't know that Thea Hall had been kidnapped by Schism. I didn't know. I didn't check. Honestly, I didn't check on anything in NXT. Nothing. So I didn't know. So she was kidnapped by Schism. Supposedly they did something to her, and she's not been right since. And now you got Tiffany Stratton going up against her. And I'm going to be honest. Tiffany's not that good in the ring. At least not yet. She's got a long way to go. Yes, she like this. And she looks like she can wrestle to a certain extent, but she's still green. She needs work. Having a great body, somewhat good mic work, and a good amount of charisma is still not enough to go in the ring. Unless she's going to be a manager, she's got to start developing that skill set of hers. Having a good moonsault is not enough for me personally. So seeing that Schism was messing with Thea, the question's going to be where are they going to go with this? Honestly, I don't know. But at least it's good to see they are focusing on her. Because that's one of the problems that the current NXT has. They don't focus very well on all their characters or all the wrestlers for their character development. They don't. They only focus on a few, and everyone is just laid to the wayside. So it is good to see that HBK is doing something. Sean's doing something. I will say that. Now, the match really, I don't know why they rushed this. Because you got Axiom versus Demi. Why? You couldn't build this up a couple of weeks? You just wanted to get it over with? Damon Kemp, who we haven't seen in a while, who had a few moments messing over Axiom, gets his ass handed to him by Axiom. There's nothing afterward to show that he's trying to get revenge or nothing. What? I think they just want to get it over with, blow it away, and just, that's it. Now, do I believe that's the wisest thing? I'm not saying yes or no, because they didn't even try to make a story out of this. Because it was 2 weeks ago Axiom got attacked. And essentially, I don't know if it means anything. Let's move on. Let's get this over with right now. The kissing moment for Jensen and Akia James. I'm going like, are you really going to go there? Are you really trying to say that you're going to have Biggs and Jensen together, the opening of the show almost, and literally Jensen saying, I've never gotten to first base. I know, I'm still clean. I'm still pure. A vampire female would just suck on his vital area to get that nutrients to keep herself young and sexy. You know, if you've seen vampire movies when it comes to females, sometimes they need to suck the nectar out of a man that has not nutted in somebody to keep their young beauty and ability. But in this situation, he didn't even kiss anybody. And I'm going like, are they really going there? They're going to go there. Sean, dude, I don't remember ever them doing on the main roster in quite a long time. But here they decide to do it. And due to the fact that Fallon is still angry that Akita didn't say anything about, what was the guy's name? Zach. After they had their date and they had tweeted it. Once Buddy took her home. Once he looked like he's about to kiss her. And Fallon comes up and said, you've been lying to him. You're cheating on him. She says, no, I haven't. And who is Zach? You said you loved him. He said, yeah, he's my brother. And then guess what? Who opens the door? It is Zach himself doing what he had to do for the house. She says, thank you to her brother. And then Fallon said, I'm sorry. And she said, why don't you trust me? And that is Akita James. And I'm going like, where are we going with this? Is this a story about them, someone turning on somebody else? Is this really about Jensen falling in love and they're going to go and do a wedding scene? Look what happened with NWA. I finally got a chance to see the wedding of, oh my goodness. I saw the wedding. I saw Aaron Stevens and I saw Mae Valentine. I didn't watch it. I hadn't had a chance. I finally got a chance to see it. And I'm going like, fuck my life. Why did I watch it? Are they setting this up for those two to have to get engaged and then they're going to do a wedding in NXT? Because that's what it looks like it's going. Because Fallon looks like she's going to have to make up for it. They're going to keep the titles and eventually Jensen is going to propose and then they're going to have the wedding in NXT. And that is going to piss off some of the fans, particularly JD. Just I was going to say, really? We're going to have that here? It's coming. I can see it. Do I want to see it? No. They're giving them development, but does it have to be a typical wedding development? I'm just saying, let's move on. Let's go. Let's go. Okay, we get the open challenge for Wesley. And it looked like either Stacks or Tony was going to do it, but Dijak grabs Tony. Stacks looks like he was about to get ready, and then, simply put, he had to go and save him until Von Wagner came out and whacked Wes, and pretty much he is now the one who's going for the North American title, which I knew he was going to win. Look, you're not beating my Desmond Xavier, my buddy, my boy. You're not beating him yet. He is probably still not ready for the main roster. He's not ready. And I'm not surprised he was going to win, which he did. But Von, where are we going with this situation with Mr. Stone? Because he keeps saying, you need to help me to help you. There's something locked up inside you to connect with the crowd, to connect with me, and it's not coming out. Either you show me how to get to that connection, or you never get anywhere. Because that's where it's going. What does this mean for Von Wagner? Because Von is not showing the fans who he is. He's not showing Stone what he is, who he is. What has he got to show? You guys tell me below. What do you think he's got to show? Because I don't know. Let's move on. Let's see here. I got a chance to see the segment with JC Jane and what happened with Bayley. I finally got a little bit of it next to what they showed. And since I didn't see NXT last week because I was having really bad sore throat, I was sneezing like crazy. Ugh. I'm like, so JC Jane kicked multiple times in the face Gigi Golan. My girl. I actually like Gigi a little bit more than JC. And when it comes down to it, do I believe she got over in a promo? No. I don't know what it is. It's not her voice that is putting me off. It isn't. I think it's the delivery she did with her voice. Because, let's be honest, JC Jane, she's got a voice that many men and women would say can be a little annoying. That'll make it good when it comes to being a heel. But the delivery is not correct yet. Now that she's by herself again, not in Toxic Attraction, she's got to work on how she delivers her promos. Not just to say it and make it feel like something. She's got to give it in a certain delivery that's going to make it really frustrating well, you got frustration where you just don't like a person and you don't want to hear their voice. And you got frustration that this person's a damn good heel. They are annoying with that damn voice and you just want them to get the ass whooped. That's what she's got to do. So she's like somewhere here, going back and forth, where her voice can be very annoying to certain people. I'm sure that they'll say it. And she's just not there to make it go this way yet. She's like somewhere here, going back and forth. She's got a lot of work to do because now that she's on her own again, she's going to have to figure out how she's going to deliver her stuff. Because when she was working with Gigi and Mandy Rose, her delivery was fine. I actually was fine with it. I liked how she talked. But now she's on her own. And now that same delivery is not going to work here. She needs to go off on her own. Did she dress well? She was fine. And honestly, I can see her becoming a main eventer once she gets that part down because she can wrestle pretty well. It's about how making herself over with her delivery and her charisma. Just saying. Let's move on. Dempsey versus Walker. Hank Walker got a onesie. And you see I didn't know Drew and him had the same boot size. Yes, they do. Was the match good? It was very short. And in the end, Charlie Dempsey whooped his ass. And guess what? You did not see Drew get into the ring at first at all. And once Charlie got the submission on him again, and he walked off, technically he was walking away, then he came back, and then Charlie jumps out of the ring onto the ring skirt, and he's looking straight at Drew, and Drew pretty much said, you know what? I got a choice here. I can go with this piece of crap who looked like he was getting somewhere, but just couldn't finish the job, and you got someone right here who can finish the job. Bye, Hank. He walks away with Charlie Dempsey. I knew that that might happen. I had that feeling that these two were actually going to work together. Now, do I believe Charlie needs to learn anything from Drew? No. I believe they will become a tag team eventually. Of course, you're going to see Charlie having a Drew as his manager, and then maybe he'll become a partner to him, a tag partner, and maybe they will be going up against Gallus, which I'll talk about in a minute with Pretty Deadly, but you get my point. I just see it. They're going to be working together. They'll probably tag on and off together, and then eventually, if they don't break apart, they will become a full tag team, and they'll go after whoever's the tag champs. Now, Gallus and Pretty Deadly, they went playing pool. Well, Gallus decided to go and play some pool and get drunk. Pretty Deadly is trying to use whatever influence they can to get them to a tag title. And they started paying for them to drink. And guess what? They made a tab longer than their arm. And pretty much what did Gallus say? They said, brother, you didn't need to do this. Just ask us, we would have done it anyway. And we'll whoop your ass. You didn't need to waste your money. Now, how do I feel what happened with Dragunov and Trick Williams and knowing that last week McDonough got his retina detached due to the fact that Dragunov did it, makes sense. Dragunov was taken out by J.D. McDonough anyway. But seeing Trick wanting to make it all about him, I don't really care. Look, I don't hate Trick Williams. He's a great hype man. But when you see him against Carmelo Hayes, Carmelo doesn't need him. I don't think he's ever needed him much to get himself over. At this point, Carmelo Hayes does not need him. And particularly when it was all over and McDonough came out and Dragunov got nailed by Trick. And pretty much, do I believe he needs to be with Trick? Carmelo? No. Do I believe they're finally going to separate these two because now suppose this is about Trick Williams and he will be dealing with Dragunov eventually? Yes. Will he win against Dragunov? Hell no. He ain't going to win against Dragunov. But the point is they are going to be doing something with Trick. He needed to be on his own for a while anyway because I've never felt that Trick really was Trick. I don't know who Trick Williams is. He's a hype man. That's it. As an individual wrestler, he feels like nothing. He's just a manager. And if they're really going to do something with Trick, they need to do it now. Because Carmelo's ready. He's been ready for over a year. I think he should have gone to the main roster already. But since he's nearing WrestleMania, hopefully when they do a draft, if they're doing a draft, he will go to SmackDown or Raw. Where do I think he's going to go? I don't know yet. It's just going to depend on how the development of pretty much after the Elimination Chamber and who wins that. Because after Elimination Chamber, we will know the landscape of Raw and SmackDown. Because a lot's happening setting up for WrestleMania for that. Now, final match is... How did I feel about the former tag champs going against Pop Rocks and Meiko Satomura? It was okay. But this really wasn't about those two at all. Not taking anything from Carter and Chance. Nothing. I think they're a great tag team. And particularly they're the only few tag teams that are left in NXT. You get my point. Understand. Chance and Carter, the only ones that's going to be facing Fallon and is going to be facing James. That's it. Unless they get more women in to really start making the division mean something, you only got two generally tag teams. That's it. Yes, I know that you also have Isla Dawn as well as Abba Fire. Yes. And it was nice to see they do something with Sorika talking about her. And I didn't know her dad. I think her dad is Hawaiian or black. I don't know. But she still needs someone to work with. You don't really have a women's tag division in NXT. You got only maybe 2 or 3 women. 2 or 3 sets of women. That's it. That's 3 teams. That's barely anything. But after the match was over, this was the setup for pretty much Meiko to finally have a match where she can get her hands on that NXT title again. And Pop Rocks, pretty much, Roxanne Perez said, no problem. It'll be an honor. No problem. I'm cool with that. I'm all right that she now has another challenger, and a more experienced challenger. That's the best thing here. She went up against Toxic Attraction, who are maybe about her level. And now you got Sakamura, who's been around since 1999, only a few years younger than Booker T when he started. What was it, 1994, 1993, at least? When he started with his brother in Harlem Heat? Pretty much. She's been around almost as long as him. And she's only 43 years old. The woman's been doing it for 23 years, and she started when she was 20. When she started, I was 28 years old. I'm 8 years older than she is. So, she still got a long way to go before she finished. How did I feel about this show? And I know I'm missing something. I'm sorry. I know, you know what? Braun Breaker, I can't skip. This was bad. I'm going to say this. This is the title. This was bad, Jinder. Jinder Mahal approaches Braun Breaker, who's trying to put over a Grayson Waller who was pissed off in the beginning of the show, and when it was about to go to Carmelo Hayes. He comes out with Alan Shearer and lets my boy, but he ain't even my boy. I've never been a big fan of Jinder Mahal. As I've always said to people, the only reason I was glad to see Jinder's champion was because they decided, because it was Vince who made the choice. Because Vince had to sign off on this. Back when SmackDown was relevant, he allowed Jinder Mahal to become champion. Yes, it was because of India, and they were trying to get some shares in India. Yes. But they allowed a lower-ranked wrestler who normally would not even be in the mid-card, let alone in the main event. They finally let somebody in there, and I thought they would do more with it. And that's the only reason I cared about Jinder Mahal. I never said he was the best wrestler. I did like his theme song, though. I still do. But when you see this segment with Braun Breaker, that boy was messing up so bad. My gosh, he was stumbling over his own freaking words. He was trying to remember his words, and he screwed the fuck up multiple times trying to get his promo out. And he's supposed to be a former WWE champion. He was in the main event of SmackDown. And also, on smaller, minor pay-per-views, he headlined them almost. Guys, Jinder, I'm not taking anything from him. Look, I give respect to anyone who wants to get into the squared circle and risk their life. Because no matter how much you don't... If JD watched this, he'll say this guy's a piece of shit. And Jess Alex will say he's crap. I'm not going to say that. Anyone who gets in that damn ring, they're willing to let their passion lead them. They can die in the ring. So I respect him for getting in that ring and wanting to entertain people. Because that's what he is. He may love pro wrestling, but he's not just a mark. He's an entertainer. He's an entertainer. He could die one day in the ring. But let's be honest. Where honesty is there. There are many levels to making a segment work. And one of them is not fucking up your promo. I fuck up. I botched my ass off on this damn channel, guys. I botched my ass off on this channel. And I own it. That's one of the wonderful character developments I have of myself. I love who I am because I know I botch. I know I mess up my lines. I know I mess up words. I know I mess up names. I'll mess up places. But I own it because you know what? This is who I am. I know that I give my best effort, but I know I can make mistakes. But I try my best to keep trying to be better. And for me, no one really gives a damn about me. But this is Jinder freaking Mahal. And one of the things that he has to do, and it happens to all of them, let's be honest. Men and women alike, they can botch their ass off when it comes to the promo. This boy looked like, legitimately, when they put the camera on him, when he messed up on one part of his line, he was going up. He had to go up like a blink, like he had to remind himself, oh shit, what I supposed to say again? That was freaking stupid. He deserves to get roasted for that shit. I'm sorry. It happens to them all. Even to us podcasters. We mess up on what we talk about. There's no way we don't screw up. And if anybody's seen me for more than a few years, even I, which just said I botch, Even sometimes I go, what am I talking about? Blank out. And he blanked the fuck out. Oh, that was bad. Did he blank out? Maybe that's a better title. Did he blank out in this promo? That's where you got it. But technically speaking, he said what he needed to say. And now it's going to be a match between him and Braun Breaker. Saying clearly, and most of the fans were agreeing with Jinder Mahal. They're basically saying that Braun Breaker sucks. And he's trying to say that. That's what the promo was all about. Saying he respects him, busting his butt for last year, making sure that this show, as the champion, was running right. But people don't care about you. People hate you. And you don't get it. And as he's beginning to explain it, you hear people in the back basically saying Braun Breaker sucks. This wasn't a very loud cheering. But he didn't get much of a loud booing and a loud sucking, but he didn't get a lot of cheers either. So they didn't really do much in that arena. So that shows that this segment wasn't very good. That they should have agreed with Jinder, or they should have gone against Jinder. There was a little bit of boos saying he sucked. They were trying a little bit of Jinder, trying to cheer him, but then they just stopped and they was almost quiet in most cases, which showed that segment was bad. Oh, but it's what happened. And this is basically my NXT review. I was about to botch right there. Oh, give me a comment below. Give me a like. If you haven't subscribed, give me a subscribe. I ain't getting no damn money, but it'd be nice to know if you guys are happy with my comment. You see, I'm botching again. My content. Peace.